Are you an established small business owner or aspiring entrepreneur? Would you like professional advice to help your business grow and succeed? Well, look no further. The Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center is the territory's #1 resource to move your business forward. Enjoy no-cost advising, low-cost training, and technical assistance from experts in both the public and private sectors. The VI SBDC is nationally accredited and sustained by the University of the Virgin Islands and the U.S. Small Business Administration. Visit us at our locations on St. Thomas, St. John, or St. Croix, and follow us on social media at VI SBDC. For easy access to all our training and networking events, be sure to join our newsletter and download the VI SBDC app. The Virgin Islands Small Business Development Center, here to help your business start, grow, and succeed.
Good morning, everyone, and it's Webinar Tuesday with the SBA. Today's session will be entitled SBA Resources Every Small Business Should Know. Today's webinar continues the VI SBDC's focus on what the SBA has to offer. Today's session focuses on how SBA can help. Participants will get an overview of the 4 main areas of service that the SBA provides to small businesses, how resource partners can help, and an overview of assistance available at any time on the SBA's website. Allow me to introduce today's lead presenter, SBA Senior Area Manager for the USVI out of the SBA PR and USVI District Office, Mr. Wayne Huddleston. Here's a friendly reminder to put your questions in the chat and they will be addressed either in the chat or later during the question and answer segment. A copy of this presentation is available upon email request to training@visbdc.org. We encourage you to take a few minutes after this training to fill out the survey that lets us know how we're doing. So Wayne, you can go ahead and share your screen and the floor is yours.
Okay, is it not shared right now?
Not as yet, we don't see it.
Oh, okay, sorry. What about now?
Okay, we see it, you're good to go.
All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, thank you, Sharika. I appreciate it. Let me get started here. All right, I'm going to start with a little short video, just like Sharika showed.
An idea, concept, a plan, a dream. That's how businesses start. With the help of the U.S. Small Business Administration, businesses transform from a home office to a global operation, a double oven setup to a 6-person bakery, concept to manufacturing, and from contemplating closure to not just surviving, but thriving. That's the power of the SBA. We make small business our business by being an ally, an advocate, a mentor, a coach, an educator, a friend to ambitious and passionate entrepreneurs. And we're igniting change, sparking action, so businesses across the nation can confidently start, grow, expand, and recover. SBA, empowering small businesses, empowering the American dream.
All right, thank you everyone for joining this morning. This is going to be a relatively short presentation. I'm going to provide just a general overview of what SBA does across the country. Hopefully by the end of this presentation, you'll have a good idea of the basic kind of areas in which SBA functions and the basic programs and how they work, but also how SBA provides its service here in the Virgin Islands. But I want to leave plenty of time at the end of this presentation to answer any questions you have. If along the way you have any questions, feel free. I don't know if there's a chat on this, but there might be. So feel free to type them into chat, or you can unmute yourself, I believe, at the end of the presentation, and then I'll answer them that way. But I'd like to start just by giving you just a very general overview of what SBA does. And essentially, SBA does four main things. We help businesses start, grow, expand, and recover. And we do this through a wide variety of different programs to help businesses access capital, succeed in government contracting, get technical support, all sorts of things. I'm not going to go into detail on all these programs, but I'm going to give you a general overview of what those look like. So the first one I'm going to start with is probably what we're most known for, which is our access to capital programs. Most people, when they think of SBA, they think of the term an SBA loan, and that's probably what we do the most during the year, whether that be a loan for disaster or a regular loan for a business through a lender. Most people know SBA through our SBA loan programs. So our, outside of disaster, and I'm going to talk about disaster later on, but in normal day-to-day scenarios, SBA does not provide loans directly to small businesses. So if you're getting an SBA loan, you're not going to SBA for that loan, but you're going to a lender, a local provider of an SBA loan. We provide the guidelines to the lenders on how they do those loans, and in return, we reduce their risk. So essentially what an SBA guaranteed loan is we are leveraging the good credit of the federal government, providing that to lenders and saying, look, if you can provide this loan under these terms for a borrower, we can assume the risk and responsibility for that loan anywhere from 50% up to 90% of that loan to reduce your risk, if that helps you provide the terms that are needed or provide a loan in situations where otherwise they would be unable to. So lenders can use our loan guarantee to provide a wide variety of loans to accomplish a lot of things a small business might need to do, whether it's just a startup or purchase inventories or purchase land or purchase material, get revolving credit, all sorts of things, or purchase a business that's already been existing. There are many ways that that lenders can leverage that guarantee to provide a loan to a borrower for a small business. However, just because we are taking a good portion of the risk from the loan from the lender, we do not take all that risk. Lenders are still going to look at the creditworthiness of an applicant to determine whether they can provide that loan, even with the SBA guarantee. They are still going to be looking at some factors. I have a whole presentation that goes into these in a little bit more detail, but overall, I'm just going to give you just a basic overview, is that they are looking at all deals. All lenders look at these in different ways, but all of them are looking at the fundamentals, and those fundamentals are what we commonly refer to as the 5 C's. Character, cash flow, collateral, capitalizations, and conditions. So they're going to be looking at each prospective deal in that light. They're going to be looking at your financial statements. They're going to be looking at how much cash you have, what the business plan looks like, what the character of that person applying for the loan is like. And they will just want to make sure that they have an assurance that they're going to be paid back, even with that guarantee. All the lenders here, all the major lenders anyway, here in the Virgin Islands are capable of and authorized to use SBA's guarantee. Now, they all change from year to year on who uses it the most frequently. Right now, the most frequent users of that guarantee have been Oriental over the past couple of years. Merchants Bank has been using it quite frequently lately. Popular routinely uses it fairly regularly. But all of these banks here have the authority to use an SBA guarantee to help possibly reduce the interest rate of a loan or provide it under terms that are more favorable. In addition to these here in the local territory that can use the SBA guarantee, there are thousands of lenders out across the country who are willing, not thousands that are willing, there are thousands of lenders that are out there that can use the SBA guarantee. Some of those are willing to look at deals here in the Virgin Islands. So every once in a while, you'll find lenders from stateside who either have an existing relationship with a borrower and they feel comfortable enough to provide a loan to their business here in the Virgin Islands, or they're working through a broker to get a loan. But there are lots of other options out there to get them. No matter what, though, one of the things that I always tell people to consider before they start that process of seeking an SBA loan from a lender is to make sure you have your financial statements in order. When I ask the local lenders what is their biggest obstacle to getting loans done and doing more loans here in Virgin Islands, the number one answer I get is that there are insufficient financial statements that allow them to get the loan done. You know, many years ago, decades ago, a lot of lenders can do deals based on their relationship and knowledge with the borrower. It didn't require as much paperwork as it does now, but they can't get past that now. There has to be sufficient financial statements to include a balance sheet, cash flow statement, all sorts of things. Lots of times, borrowers don't have those financial statements, but you need to make sure that you have those together, and you can get help from the SBDC, from a local accountant, from others if you're not sure how to put those together, but those are going to be a necessity when seeking your loan. As I mentioned, there are a lot of lenders here in the territory that provide an SBA guarantee, but there are also lenders outside the territory that are willing. SBA has a portal on our site, sba.gov/lendermatch. This is a tool where we are simply connecting borrowers with lenders who are willing to provide loans in our area. So as you reach out to look at different options for a loan, I always consider you do a few things first. Talk to your local lender, one that you already have an account with, whether that's an existing business account with your bank or a personal account that you may have. You should talk to the lender that knows you best first, because they can typically move a little bit more faster. But simultaneously, you should also be looking at other resources as well. You should talk to your SBDC to see what they consider. Maybe they can help you shop this deal to other lenders here in the area, or you can use LenderMatch. It just takes 10 minutes. You put in some basic information. When you hit submit, that immediately goes out to lenders that have indicated to SBA in that portal that they want to see deals in the area. They typically respond within 48 hours as to whether they're interested in talking to you more about a possible deal here in the Virgin Islands. So an excellent tool for you to be aware of. Now, outside of lending, that's the vast majority of our access to capital help that we provide businesses. But there are also other ways to access capital that we help with. So loans are a way, I wouldn't say a common way, but they are a way to help fund your business. A more common way is people find friends and others to fund their business. But sometimes people have businesses that are not necessarily right for a loan, but could be eligible for investment from others. So we do have partners called SBIC, Small Business Investment Companies, where SBA helps to provide funding to back those small business investment companies, and they invest in businesses all across the country. Now, oftentimes these SBICs are not seeking to invest in normal or common businesses such as a restaurant or a landscape service or construction services or others. A lot of times they're seeking to invest in businesses that may have something unique, that they're capturing a new market or they're providing a new service, and it has the ability to scale significantly. So if you have a type of business that is unique and has the ability to scale significantly, an SBIC might be an option for you. There are no existing SBICs here in the Virgin Islands, but they do exist around the country. And many of those, while some are local oriented, many are willing to invest in deals anywhere within the country, as long as it makes sense for them. So that is an option out there. And I think I already covered a lot of this already. And that's where you can get more information about SBICs and learn how they operate. So another way that we provide funding to businesses is through what we call SBIRs or STTRs. These are even more specialized. We don't provide the funding directly again in this one. What we do is we provide the link and the help to link small businesses who are either investing in or starting to develop an emerging technology, or are providing a technology that is of a specific need for another federal agency. So we will provide linkages to Department of Agriculture, Department of Defense, and others for small businesses that believe that they can provide help. This is not a loan. These are grant programs where that agency may provide a grant to a small business to help them commercialize their product so that it can reach the point where it can be helpful to that federal agency. A lot more information on that can be found at sbir.gov. Some of the things that some examples they include here: artificial intelligence, nanomaterials, clean energy, water filtration, education, wearable technology. These are all things that have frequently been priorities of other federal agencies where they are seeking businesses to develop new and emerging technologies. And finally, another way that we help businesses access capital, and this operates similarly to how we provide help for loans, is our surety bond program. And again, we are not providing a bond directly. However, we have an extensive network of surety bond agents who themselves are connected to many surety bond providers. On our website, we provide a list of surety bond agents, and they are divided by state and territory. So if you go to surety bonds at sba.gov, there's a little link to say find authorized agents. When you click that link, you will see a drop-down list where you can select the Virgin Islands, and you will see immediately these are the surety bond agents that can help you find a surety bond here in the territory, and it provides their contact information. Surety bonds are typically used by construction companies that are seeking to perform on it could be a federal contract. More often down here, it's a local government contract that is supported by federal dollars. And oftentimes these require surety bonds by the prospective servicers of that contract. So we help by linking small businesses with surety bond agencies that can provide those bonds behind the scenes. We provide a guarantee to surety bond agencies similar to how we do it with lenders, and then allows them to provide the surety bond at really good rates, allowing small businesses to compete for much larger projects than they otherwise would be able to. And speaking of federal contracting, I want to talk about how SBA assists in federal contracting. So if you are a small business and you only have one customer, you certainly want that one customer to be the federal government, because it is the world's largest purchaser of goods and services in the entire world. It purchases hundreds of billions of dollars every year worth of goods and services. However, there are statutory requirements that require federal agencies to provide a certain portion of its contracts to small businesses. That business or that portion government-wide is 23%, but other agencies may have different goals depending on who they serve and their markets. For instance, the Department of Defense, they have a very small goal to give a certain number of contracts to veteran-owned small businesses, but the number for Department of Defense is much larger. They self-impose that goal than it would be for maybe another entity. You can learn a lot more about evaluating your readiness for it by visiting sba.gov/contracting. It's very hard to start in the federal contracting world if you've never serviced contracts of that size before. In fact, it's almost impossible. You have to show some track record. But there are also certifications that we can provide that can help you in that process. So 4 that we manage here through SBA that are highly sought after by federal contracting officers are, well, there's really 3, but there's also a program that we offer. It's not a certification. But contracting officers have goals to provide a certain number of their contracts to service disabled veteran-owned businesses, a certain number to women-owned small businesses, and a certain number to what we call historically underutilized businesses. They also seek businesses that are enrolled in what we call our 8A business development program run by SBA. These are very powerful certifications that can enable small businesses to win sole source contracts, win contracts without open bidding. They can be, these certifications can be used to leverage a higher price, where for instance, a historically underutilized business zone certified business can bid up to 10% higher on a contract than other large businesses and still be awarded that contract, where otherwise that would not be allowed. There are a lot of great advantages to getting these certifications. Contracting officers, again, they seek these very much. Sometimes, especially when you near the end of the fiscal year, when contracting officers are maybe close or struggling to reach their goals to provide a certain number of contracts to small businesses, they will actively seek those with these certifications. And if they find that there are enough contract providers with the certifications they need, they will restrict a contract to only certified businesses. So for instance, if a contracting officer is needing to meet their goal for providing contracts to women-owned businesses, and at the end of the year, they don't have that goal, they can, or have not reached their goal, they can look out in the Virgin Islands, for instance, and say, okay, I have this construction contract, or I have this other service provider need that I have in the Virgin Islands. For this particular contract, are there enough businesses in the Virgin Islands that have a women-owned certified status? They can look. If there are, then they can say, okay, we are going to restrict this just to those businesses. So if you don't have that status, you cannot even compete for that business. Even if you are women-owned, if you don't have the certified status through our system, you will be restricted and really unable to even compete for those potential opportunities. So some really good good help that can be provided there in the federal government certification process. You can get more information on certify.sba.gov. Another resource to help you with federal contracting, this is not necessarily an SBA resource, but I want to include it here because it is important, is the VI Apex Accelerator. These used to be referred to as the Procurement Technical Assistance Centers. We have one here in the Virgin Islands. Its primary purpose is to help small businesses obtain federal contracts and local government contracts. They are experts in the process, how to create capability statements, how to create successful bids, how to engage in partner agreements with other small businesses or prime contractors, and how to be a sub, how to look for these contracts. They have a lot of fantastic information. That's their sole job here in the territory. And again, they help not only with federal contracting, but with local government contracting, which there is a lot of these days. So I encourage you to make use of the Apex Accelerator here locally if you're interested at all in government contracting. Additionally, we offer help in expanding outside of this market. So, of course, in the world, the United States, the federal government is the largest consumer of purchases of goods. And then there's a great large market within the United States. But 96% of the consumers live outside the country, and 2/3 of the world's purchasing power is in foreign countries. So we endeavor to help small businesses reach those markets and find buyers internationally. There's a lot of programs that we have that assist in this. You can get specialized counseling from an international trade and export. We have what's called the U.S. Export Assistance Center that can provide specialized assistance in reaching out to foreign markets. Our SBDCs also are trained in providing assistance to how to expand into either down island or other foreign countries. We have a program called STEP, which is called the State Trade Expansion Program. And this is simply a program where we provide funding locally to help small businesses expand in other areas. And that could be through going to trade shows. It could be through a number of different ways. That grant, we provide that to the Virgin Islands Economic Development Authority. They administer that grant, and they can provide help through our STEP program for local businesses to reach foreign markets. And we also have specialized funding programs for that. Again, these are not direct loans, but these are specialized guarantee programs where we work with lenders to provide capital for working capital or exporting expenses, or loans that just help boost international trade. There are a lot of programs around that can help. We have a specialist who is dedicated to nothing but this. His name is Sandro Murtas. He's out of Florida, but he serves the Virgin Islands as well. He's our lead export finance manager. His contact information is on this screen. So if you are all interested in, especially if you're seeking funding from a lender to enable your exporting or being able to engage with other markets, please reach out to Sandro. He'd be happy to help and help work with a lender to get you the assistance you need with that. And finally, the other big area where we help, which unfortunately a lot of people are familiar with down here, is helping in disasters, or especially the recovery from a major disaster. It is estimated that 25% of businesses don't reopen after a major disaster. So we provide a lot of assistance to help avoid that closure. So we do it in two ways. One is to provide technical assistance and information to help businesses prepare and mitigate from the problems that can occur when a disaster strikes, whether that be a natural disaster such as a hurricane, or it could be things such as a pandemic that happened. It could even be a significant wartime engagement where many people are deployed and that impacts the employees of a business that are now leaving. We provide a lot of programs that can help in that. Our disaster loans are the time where we do provide loans directly to not only small businesses, but also individuals to help rebuild their homes, especially when there's a insurance shortfall. We can provide a loan directly to an individual to rebuild their home, to rebuild their business, to purchase inventory for their business, to personal property if they needed. They can even provide loans for economic injury. So let's say there was a natural disaster, but you didn't have any damage to your property. However, it did damage your ability to make money because now your market is not operating, or people aren't buying your goods in the same way, or can't buy your goods, or you can't sell your goods for some reason. We can provide a loan just to get by those periods as well. These are typically very long-term, up to 30 years, with very low interests that are typically below 5%. Last few times they've been around 3% for these loans. So very good in helping businesses recover quickly following a disaster. And then finally, we provide an extensive resource partner network that can help you with technical assistance, whether that is thinking through an idea and you don't know where to begin, but you just know you have an idea to open a business and you need some help and direction, to I've been in business for 30 years and now I need to work through a multi-million-dollar arrangement, or I need to work through selling my business to the right person, or I'm dealing with complicated issues. They can help in all those. We provide them extensive training in a lot of different areas. Now, there are we have different types of technical service providers all across the country, but I'm going to focus on the 3 that are active here in the Virgin Islands. They are the SBDC, SCORE, and what we call VBOC, the Veteran Business Outreach Center. So the first one I'm going to talk about is SCORE. SCORE is a volunteer-driven coaching and mentoring organization. So we have volunteers for SCORE. We have a few that are located here in the Virgin Islands, but we have a much larger network of volunteer mentors that volunteer out of Florida. The chapter here in the USVI has partnered with SCORE out of Florida to provide a more broad expertise than what could be provided locally. So if you reach out to SCORE and request a meeting, they can match you up with someone who has knowledge of your industry. For instance, if you're in a restaurant and you're thinking about opening a restaurant, inevitably SCORE is going to have someone who has opened a restaurant in the past and has deep knowledge of that industry. You can be paired with that person as a mentor, and they can help you avoid some of the obstacles or pitfalls that they may have seen as they were growing their restaurant in the past. But it could be all sorts of other industries and expertise. They have a lot of great help there. I know people who have started with a SCORE mentor when they were just thinking about starting their business. And then 15 years later, they're still meeting with that mentor just for coaching, meeting for coffee every once in a while and getting good feedback. They provide their service free of charge. They also provide on their website, if you visit their website, a lot of fantastic templates to help you develop financial statements or help you develop your business plan as you're moving forward. The biggest provider of technical service here in the territory is the Small Business Development Center. Of course, they're hosting this here today, but they have physical offices on St. Thomas, on St. Croix, and even on St. John. They have full-time personnel. These are not volunteers. These are paid personnel that have been highly trained to help you in all aspects of your business. Again, whether that's from just the very basics of developing your business plan or seeking funding to all sorts of more complicated issues that can arise in a business. They operate somewhat like consultants. The service they provide is free of charge. However, you do need to engage with them. They're not going to do the work for you. So sometimes people have a misperception. They can walk into an SBDC office and say, okay, here's my idea, give me my plan. But that's not going to happen. An SBDC officer is not going to write the plan for you, but they will help you. They will provide you a lot of coaching. They will provide you examples. They will review it with their expert eye and give you appropriate feedback so you can make sure that is credible. They can also help you with lending. They can help you look through your financial statements to make sure they make sense. They can connect you with lending officers if you're willing to allow them to do so. They can even sit with you when you're speaking with lending officers. They're not going to represent your business, but they can help you along the way to help coach you to make sure you're addressing the right things to increase your opportunities for receiving a loan. An excellent resource here in the territory. And then finally, there is the Veteran Business Outreach Center. It serves our territory. They do not have a physical office and staff person here in the territory. However, they do have an office out of Puerto Rico. And they are serviced out of Region 2, which is actually out of New York. And they will, every year, they will regularly send down individuals to put on seminars, to meet with small business owners. They focus specifically on veteran-owned businesses. So if you're a veteran or you know a veteran that has a business or is starting a business, this is an excellent place to get a lot of information, similar to what the SBDC provides, but just specifically focusing on veterans. And then finally, you can get a lot of information from our site. So I'm just providing a very high-level overview of what SBA does and what we provide, but you can get regular updates if you are on Twitter, or now called X. You can follow us there. You can see our resource guide online. We have a website. We have a Facebook page. I would say your two best resources, though, are our website. One, we have a lot of fantastic information on our website. You can go to a lot of detailed on there. We have also a learning portal on our website. So if you want to watch recorded seminars on just about any topic, from developing your financial plan to your business plan to government contracting to what have you, we have a lot of fantastic information on there on our site. It's very extensive. The other resource is just my email. So if you ever have a question about SBA in particular, about one of our programs, please just email me. I can respond pretty quickly. And if I don't have the answer, I can find that answer for you within our network. Oftentimes, I'm going to be referring you back to the SBDC for ongoing assistance and help. But if it's something related to SBA and our programs, please email me. I'd be happy to help you with that. So that is it for my presentation. As I said, just a very general overview of what we do, but I wanted to leave plenty of time for questions at the end. So let me see what we have. So first question is, hello, everyone. Is this seminar for Virgin Islands or does it include Puerto Rico? So this seminar is open to everyone. I have my light turned off back there. This seminar is open to everyone. You can be from Alaska for all I care. We're just giving this information to anyone. Now it is focused on the Virgin Islands because we want to have some things that are geared towards focus on the Virgin Islands. So that's why I've discussed the programs, the lenders and services that are helpful here. But certainly we welcome anyone to ask questions. I'm very familiar with Puerto Rico as well, so I can answer questions there. And we do advertise this on the Puerto Rico SBA website as well. So certainly welcome to join us. And I think that's another question that was in here, is this information benefits both PR and USVI. Thanks, Shariga, for responding to that. So any other questions out there? We're happy to answer at this time.
I don't see any questions directly in the chat, but you can raise your hand and we'll call on you so you can unmute your mic and ask directly. Okay, I don't see any hands raised, so in the interest of time, I just let everyone know that the VI SBDC has so much more in store for USVI small businesses. You can visit our website at www.visbdc.org. Download the VI SBDC app on your mobile device from the appropriate app store. Like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Google Business, and subscribe to the VI SBDC YouTube channel for new uploads of our on-demand webinars. We want everyone to know that we have our financial literacy series available on demand for anyone who wants to tune into any sessions they may have missed live. Coming up, we have SBA Webinar Tuesday on May 21st, securing an SBA loan for your business, how to get approved. On the 23rd, we have VI Apex, and they're specializing in WOSB certification questions you need to ask. On the 30th, we have VI Apex back with responding to RFPs, RFIs, and RFQs. And on June 4th, we have SBA back with Ascent for Women Entrepreneurs. That's a program. So I don't see any additional questions. I do see comments thanking us for the presentation. It was very informative. Here's a friendly reminder to check your email. We're about to send you a post survey and you're going to let us know how we are doing. So I do see a question. Okay, Christopher would like to ask a question, Wayne. Where is Christopher? I don't see Christopher anymore. Perhaps he left? I guess he probably left. Okay, so I guess, Wayne, that's about it. And on behalf of the entire VI SBDC network, we thank you for collaborating with us to make this information available to the small business community. So thank you, everyone, and enjoy your day.